Okay, so in this video, we're looking at recurrence relations again. And this time, we're going to try and identify the type of sequence. So if you read this, it says, state whether the following sequences are increasing, decreasing, periodic, or none of these three. And so here, we're given three different formulas, and we're given the first term of each sequence. So if we want to figure out whether they are increasing, decreasing, or periodic, we're first of all going to have to find out what the first few terms are. And once we have the terms, we can then figure out what the pattern is and see which of these it is. So if we just scroll down here, I've just written out the first one. So it says that u of n plus 1 is equal to u of n minus 5. And the first term is 13. So we write out the formula. I write out the first few terms because I'm going to need to know a few terms to figure out the sequence, or figure out the pattern of the sequence. And then we can get to work by finding the second term. So u of 2, the second term, is just going to be the first term, un, minus 5. And we're told that the first term was 13. So it's going to be 13 minus 5, which is 8. So I can put an 8 here. Then to find u3, that is going to be u of 2, so the second term, minus 5, which, because the second term is 8, can be 8 minus 5, which is 3. So the third term is 3. And now that I have these terms, I can look at them and figure out what's going on, what's the pattern. Well, at the moment it's decreasing. 13, 8, 3, that's taking away 5 each time. And presumably it's going to carry on taking away 5, which we could check if we wanted to. We could find out some more terms. But the fact that it's decreasing by 5 each time makes a lot of sense, because it says that here. It says to find the next term, just take the current one, take away 5. So obviously they're going to decrease by 5 each time. Yeah. So this, overall, is a decreasing function. Yeah. It's an arithmetic sequence. It's decreasing by the same amount each time, and it's decreasing rather than increasing or being periodic. And that's it. So if we do the same thing for the second one, this one says that u of n plus 1, so the next term in the sequence, is 2 times the current term. But the first term is k. So this is kind of weird because they've given us the first term in algebra, not in numbers. So you might think that's kind of hard to better figure out what type of sequence it is. But it doesn't really matter too much because we can just figure out u2 and u3 in algebra as well. And then we can just still look at the pattern. So if I want to find out u of 2, I have to do 2 times the first term, which is going to be 2 times k, or just 2k. So the second term is 2k. Then to find out the third term, I just do 2 sets of u2. So 2 times 2k, remember u2 was 2k, and that's 4k. So, looking at this, it seems to be doubling each time. Go from k to 2k, then from 2k to 4k. And so if it's doubling, it is getting bigger, so it's an increasing function this time. So this one here is an increasing function. And again, we could kind of see that from the beginning because it just had a 2 in front of the un. So if the previous term is being multiplied, or you are adding things to it, it's probably going to be an increasing function. Whereas if there was a fraction here, like if it was half of un, that would mean it's getting smaller each time. Or if you subtract something from the end. So those sort of things would mean there's a decreasing function. So going down to this last one, we're told that u of n is minus 1 over un minus 1. So they've done it a bit differently this time, in that they've said that the current term is minus 1 divided by the previous term. Yeah, they're using n and n minus 1 rather than n plus 1 and n. But again, it doesn't make any difference. And it was the first term is 3. So if we want to find the second term, we have to do minus 1 divided by the first term. And the first term was 3, so we do minus 1 divided by 3. And that's it. We don't even need to simplify that. It's just minus a third. So u of 2 is minus a third. Then to find u of 3, we have to do minus 1 divided by u of 2. Yeah, because that's the previous term. Which is going to be minus 1 divided by minus a third. Could pop this in bracket if we want to make it a bit clearer. These are a bit annoying. A lot of people get this wrong when they try to do it in their head. But when you divide something by a fraction, this number basically comes all the way to the top. And the negatives would cancel out. So this is just 3. So u of 3 is 3. And that, we can basically tell now is going to be periodic. Because if you put in 3, you get minus a third. If you put in minus a third, you get 3. So we know that this, when we put in this 3, next time we're going to get minus a third as well. We could just double check. We could say it's minus 1 over u3 to find the fourth term, which is minus 1 over 3. So yeah, just minus a third. So this one, because it's changing, like a regular pattern, goes to 3, minus a third, 3, minus a third, and so on and so on. This one is periodic. And there you go. So that's how you can find out whether a sequence is increasing, decreasing, or periodic. You just write out the first few terms, and then just look at it and see which of those it fits. So hope that all makes sense. Have a go at some of the MCQs down below just to consolidate it all, make sure you got it. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.